Catskill Mountains. That's the plan. We'll see how it unfolds. If I can tear myself away from this view, we'll probably keep moving. So maybe they're going to make us work a little bit harder to get to that end of that last mile. Just a little bit. Just the footing. Hey everybody, Syntax 77 here with you, and we are on a new adventure. We are in the Catskill Mountains of New York State, about 120 miles north of New York City. Did about half hour of driving on some pretty remote back country roads to get here. You can see there are some other people at this trailhead here, probably some day hikers and whatnot. We're going to be going up the Peekamoose Table Trail towards Peekamoose and Table Mountains respectively. 3,500 foot plus peaks, and then we'll probably be venturing over to Slide Mountain, which is the tallest peak in the Catskills. So that should be pretty cool. That's a 4,000 footer, or over 4,000 foot by a little bit. Brought the car up as I usually do. It is actually mid-afternoon though, which is pretty late for me, or I'd say it's like 1:30. Rather than taking the car up last night and sleeping at the trailhead as I usually do, I actually just left this morning and got here around a little after lunch. So we're gonna hike in, have some fun, and I'm particularly excited about this trip because I've got some new gear I want to test out. Most notably, I'm using a hammock system instead of a tent, which should be pretty cool. We'll see how that goes, as well as a new sleeping pad and a lighter weight summer sleep bag. So we'll check all that out. But right now I'm going to get my gear together, get packed up, double check everything, lock the car, and get on the trail. Pretty steep ascent straight from the gate here. You can probably tell by those voices down there. Got a decent amount of day hikers around here. Haven't seen anybody with any large packs yet. But also worth mentioning, it is last week of August. So definitely prime season. But we'll see how we make out. And we do have that hammock with us this time, so that's pretty cool. We should be able to have a lot more easier time picking out a spot to set that up. Whew. All right, trail register there. And they definitely get it, they get your heart pumping pretty good right from the beginning there. Luckily, this is my lightest loadout I've used yet. My total weight is around 23 pounds. Got my base weight all the way down to 16 pounds. By ditching some items and then switching to the hammock made a big difference. But most of the details of my system you can see in my earlier White Mountains backpacking prep video. You can see my general system I've been using, as well as an earlier video about the changes I made for this trip. So I'll spare you the redundancy, but feel free to check those out if you're wondering. Let's see what the trail register looks like here. Welcome to Peekamoose Mountain Trailhead. 2,600 feet of elevation gain on the way. There's no cell phone service, at least not for me, but there's some numbers. And we'll just go ahead and sign this thing. Alright, there you go. By the way, permit's not required unless you're here for more than 4 days. We'll just be here tonight. This will be a quick overnighter. We'll do whatever mileage we can today and find somewhere to pop the hammock up tonight, this afternoon, whatever. Hang out, hike around tomorrow, get back to the car, and get back home. Ah, it's a healthy diet that bear had. Lovely. You see they have the trail marked with these actual blue trail markers. Try to focus on that. So, kind of fancy if you're used to the spray paint markers. There's another one. Some of them have writing on it. Some don't, but either way, you get the point, and they put them pretty often. So, thank you, State of New York. While you did take away my right to defend myself, at least you have some high-end trail markers. I'll give you that. Wow, there's just some brutal uphill in a couple of these sections. I think it might be flattening out. Probably not, but at least for a couple meters. Don't speak so soon, I guess. There's where we came from. Looks like we go this way, although I don't see the trail markers around here. I guess we're going up here. This is definitely steep. Oh, there we go. There it is. That's the only spot so far that I wasn't quite sure if I went off the trail. But we're back. Some big boulders up there. And just relentless uphill so far. Never does come across on screen quite like reality, but it's pretty decent. I feel like we might be breaking out of these trees soon. Unless it's a false summit, false hope here. Or at least getting some sunlight. We've been under a lot of tree cover this whole time so far. Yeah, can't really see anything yet, but we're getting there. About an hour in, hour and 15 minutes, and we've only gone 2 1/3 mile. So we're only going about 2 miles per hour total, you know, including stops and stuff. So it's pretty steep. Love these trees that just wrap around the boulders. Looks like we're going straight through the middle of this, not around it. It's just fun. It's getting a little mossier at these elevations. A little bit more of a Vermont look. Although I'll tell you, it's actually been possibly more rugged than that last Vermont trip I did. That was in southern Vermont though. Now, you won't see any actual markings for it, but this Peekamoose table trail that we're on is actually simultaneously part of the New York Long Path. And the New York Long Path, not to be confused with the Vermont Long Trail, which we were on in my Green Mountains video for a little bit, is a network of trails, kind of like a mini Appalachian Trail, forget the mileage. I want to say it's longer than the long trail though, and the long trail is like 270 miles. But the cool thing about it is, remember I said we're about 120 miles north of New York City? The long path actually starts like practically right at New York City and keeps on heading north through upstate New York. So if you're watching this and you're in New York City, I don't care if you don't even have a car, you could take a trail right from there. Go out and back as far as you want. Do the whole thing if you've got the time. But pretty neat. I think it's probably one of the lesser known, out of breath. Probably one of the lesser known trails, but pretty cool little section we're on here at least. Whew. All right, well, about an hour and a half in, 3 miles up the trail. Finally got the pack off, take a little break, and you see we've reached the 3,500 foot elevation mark here. Now, no fires above this point. Also, no camping. You can camp anywhere without a permit, like I said, but not above 3,500 feet. At least not unless it's in between those date ranges on the sign, which is like winter, basically. So, above here, any sweet camping spots we will have to just ignore. But we'll do Peekamoose Mountain and then Table Mountain. They're fairly close together. And then once we start losing elevation, I think we'll probably find a campsite for the hammock, hopefully after we cross back below 3,500 feet, and then maybe save Slide Mountain, which is the tallest in the Catskills. Save that for tomorrow. So that's the plan. We'll see how it unfolds. But for now, I'm just going to stuff my face with some trail food because I am starving after that. Back on the road. Trail's going this way, but I think we get our first view here. Oh yeah. Look at that. That's awesome. A little bit of haze out there, of course, but great view. So we came from down there, down that direction. Trail just wrapped us up around, continues up that way. But let's soak this in for a minute without falling to our death, huh? Man, pretty cool. Weather is awesome so far. I mean, it's hot and sweating, but it's not in the 90s, it's 80s, which is nice. And we'll see what it dips down to tonight, depending on the elevation that we stay at and whatnot. But that is just awesome. Very cool. So, I guess we'll keep going. If I can get my motivation, if I can tear myself away from this view, we'll probably keep moving. Tell you what, it is just refreshingly flat and even. Look at that up here at this higher elevation. Once we got past that 3,500 foot mark, a lot easier on the legs. Nice little breather. Came upon this little puddle here, which I was going to say earlier. Our chance of finding water at these elevations not too great, and I probably won't need this, but I carry a. This is not for drinking. I've written on it dirty water only. So we'll just scoop some of this up, and in a pinch, I can filter this later. Oops, I just soiled it up, so I'll just take that first dip there before I got all the sediment going. But if I don't need this, I'll dump it. If I do, I can filter it with my water filter, Sawyer squeeze later on. It's certainly cold, unlike my other water, which is like 90 degrees at this point. There we go, get that nice and secure on the outside. It's always nice to carry some spare, well, that's my fuel, but some spare collapsible disposable bottles. You never know when you're going to need some extra water carrying capability. And we'll move out. You see, we've got some more uphill. I was teased by that flat section back there, wasn't I? We're about 3.5 miles in. Table Mountain should be about another mile away. And we have about 3.5 hours left before sunset. So now we're on this flatter ground, we're making good time, so we'll knock out this mile, check out the next summit, and then descend for a camping site. Hopefully with some sunlight to set up the hammock for the first time. First time in the wild, that is. So maybe they're going to make us work a little bit harder to get to that end of that last mile. Just a little bit. I found a little offshoot trail coming off of the real trail. One would hope this means there's views down here. Take a quick look. Oh yeah. That would explain it. Get another angle on those views that we saw. Remember we came from down there? Definitely can hear more air traffic due to our proximity to New York City compared to being in New Hampshire. Although, terrain-wise, as we get up here closer to 4,000 feet, get more of a New Hampshire feel. The air is getting cooler, it's nice. Awesome. I think I'm gonna have to put that, get to the top of Table Mountain here and put that cold puddle water to use for some iced coffee. Could be a good treat. Actually starting to hit some downgrade after that view there. Some serious downgrade. Watch the footing. We'll keep losing a little bit of elevation here, and then we'll regain it, because we're kind of going into the saddle, whatever you want to call it for lack of a better term, between Peekamoose back there and Table Mountain ahead. Getting very mossy now. See that nice bright green color all over the place. Unfortunately, it's accompanied by tons of spider webs at this point, but very nice to look at. Good God, some very stereotypical Mario mushrooms. Look at that. Don't eat that. You start thinking you're a plumber running around going down life-size pipes, bugging out, chasing princesses that don't exist. Very nice grade in here, though. Nice little stroll along here. They call it Table Mountain because it's got this nice flat table-like section along the its summit. And after a little bit of downgrade, you'll see it fork. And I believe, if my notes are correct, we're going to go over to the left here, and we should have a view. There it is. Now we got a view of the other side of the range here. A little bit of a drop there, huh? Look at that. That's great. can see a lot of the peaks around here doing this hike. In this area in the Catskills, from, you know, I'm not that familiar with the area. It's my first time out here, but if you're familiar with the way New Hampshire has like the 4,000 footers, people get into peak bagging and they have the whole list of the 4,000 footers. Well, out here they have 3,500 footers, and they have a whole list of those ones as well, and people try to peak bag those. I just can't speak. But anyway, so a lot of these out here are your 3,500 footers that you can check off the list. Alright, and the weather's holding out nice. It is about 5 o'clock or so. We got about a little under 3 hours until sunset. You could do this as a day hike. We've come right there, you see Table Mountain right there, and the car was down there. But up at the top of this, that red dot there is Slide Mountain. So I'm thinking what we're going to do, because like I said, this would be a good day hike. A lot of those day hikers that I saw coming back to the parking lot probably did this area as a day hike and then went back down to the parking area. I think what we'll do with our 3 hours of daylight is keep going this way towards Slide Mountain, but we'll just get down past that 3,500 mark and start looking for a camping spot. You see we got a river here on my maps here that I just printed out because they're a lot lighter weight to just print out the maps I need. But anyway, that's another subject. But probably go towards this river, start looking for a campsite, set up for the night, and then tomorrow we'll go out to Slide Mountain, and I have some other maps we can decide what to do when we're out there. But we'll get there tomorrow. But I think that's the plan right now, is just get from Table Mountain down below elevation, possibly towards some water, set up camp, take it from there. So let's get going. Get back out of here. See, we're melting that elevation now pretty rapidly. Definitely easier on the knees having this lighter pack. That is a benefit. And that should be it. Coming down the other side here. 3,500 foot elevation mark right here. So from here on out, it is game on for campsites. Like I said, I think we'll try to make it towards that river that's marked on the map there. And we're about a little, maybe 3 hours and 10 minutes, 3 hours and 15 minutes into this. We've only gone about 5 miles on that 3 hours. Because the terrain back there was just, it was pretty intense uphill. I'll give it that. But, and on top of the fact that I didn't start hiking until 2 p.m., which is a little crazy based on the fact that I usually start around 6 a.m. So, I'll take it. I think I at least earned a fun dinner of some sort. We'll see. But keep on trucking along. I think we're doing good on daylight, so that's good. Oh, we got a fork here, actually. About to turn the camera off, but let's see what we got going on. There's a lean-to. Really? Well, I'm going to go look at it. But I think I'd rather get close to that water and just set up my hammock, because it doesn't matter. Don't have to worry about ground conditions anymore. I just need to find 2 trees. But let's go take a look at it. And then the path we're actually after keeps going down there. But let's go look. It's not bad. Not bad at all. Well, got your rake, shovel. It's well kept. I wonder if there's a water source. Is that maps up there? This is a well-stocked shelter. You don't see this often. Looks like you got your little trail book to sign in. Somebody left sunscreen. Got a broom there. It's very well kept. This is probably one of the nicest shelters I've seen in terms of just organization. It's pretty cool. But we're not going to use it. That'd be too easy. And a little further down, we have the, oh, I was going to say, that'd be really close together for two. Two huts. It's a spring. I'll check it out for the sake of exploration and show you guys what it looks like. But I think I got enough to get me to that river, but let's take a look. There it is, actually. A little rough. I mean, yeah, I could drink that puddle water. Believe me, that's a couple liters easy. Not a problem, but spring is not flowing, people. Not flowing. But again, if I was desperate, or even if I was staying right up there at that shelter, because this isn't that far from it, I'd dip right in there and filter that up. Puddle coffee. But anyway, all right, we're going to get to the river. Looks like the trail splits here. This might be an overlook of some kind. Pretty cool view of what we were walking across over there. Still hear those airplanes. There's the sun in the sky. Hopefully we'll still have a decent amount of time to set up, but always nice to stop for these views along the way. It's a pretty cool cutout right there. I like to state the obvious. That's what I'm all about. All right. That'll take care of that diversion. You know, I will say real quick, I used to have the back there in the pack. I used to have my externally attached sleeping pad, and I switched sleeping pads. You'll see that later, or maybe you already saw it in the gear video. But I'm kind of getting used to the fact that I have a lot more clearance back there for going through tight spots, so that's kind of nice. This tree cover is definitely blocking out that sun slowly but surely. But it's time for the old energy boost. Iced coffee, ibuprofen, almond clusters. Works every time. These things are great, by the way. I forget the brand. Maybe I'll post it. Got these at Big Lots. Cheap. I get whatever's cheap, but these are like 170 calories an ounce. They're just like clusters of almonds, but they're like sweet. But 170 calories an ounce. You keep your weight down and your calories up. Coffee, carbs, and vitamin I works for me. It's about pushing on 6 o'clock now, and we're up to like 6.25 miles. Hopefully another mile or so. Coffee's kicking in. Another mile or so to get to this river and refill the water that I just used. But that's why I hit that puddle back there. So that was like free coffee without expending my water supply that I already had. Thank you, puddle. Of course, it is a diuretic, so you know it's not really that smart to chug a bunch of coffee on the trail, but I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. Pretty cool garden of mossy rocks. As that sun gets a lower and lower angle, it's getting harder to pick up these trail markers in the lowered light and visibility, but luckily I hear water, and that looks like a riverbed. So let's check it out. Might have finally made it. anywhere around here will be fine. Just gotta find somewhere to set up hammock at this point. Anywhere that I can hear that water from is plenty convenient for tonight and tomorrow morning. So start scouting for a spot to set this hammock up. Another little offshoot from the river there. And this is kind of funny. I guess we'll get to go over this tomorrow. Little bridge. At least they give you a railing. Well, maybe we'll go over it today. Oh, well, would you look at that? Looks like they're working on another one. Good enough to cross though. Oh, camping prohibited within 150 feet of road trail water. That's fine. Let me go down and walk along the river here, see if we can't find an area to get 150 feet off, have it to ourselves. Well, a little past the clearing, which was down there, crossed over the stream and found this little area, so just got to find the right 2 trees and set this up before we run out of light. Might be looking at the hammock setup in the morning, depending on the light, because it is obviously darker back here under these trees. 7.6 miles, I believe, and it's about 7 o'clock. So tomorrow we will do Slide Mountain. I have to check how far away it is. We'll go out to Slide Mountain, come back here, and then back to the car. Kind of an out and back thing. So, but I think this will be home right here, if I can get this thing set up. Well, there you kind of have it. I originally put it on 2 trees that are too close together, and as you can tell by the sudden lack of daylight, I probably spent a little extra time on this. This is my first time using it outdoors. Actually, I totally don't advise this, but I just got this yesterday. Tested it out using the columns on my back porch. I don't suggest that you do that, but I don't care. Fiddle in a little bit. So I'm sure I'll adjust my technique as it goes on. I already know that it's I didn't end up with it far enough off the ground, but it'll work. And luckily it's not going to rain tonight, so a learning process. I'll catch up with you in the morning. I'm going to have some dinner and just eat some food and relax. Well, the Mountain House Pro Pack, chili mac and beef. You've already seen me eat this before. Unfortunately, they didn't have the, I think there's a 4th flavor, but they didn't have it when I went to EMS. I wanted to show you guys that and test it out, but this is my favorite one so far, followed by spaghetti. And Mike tried the pasta primavera. It was like a vegetarian one with zucchini and stuff. It looked really good, but it didn't really seem hearty enough. I wanted something with beef. So that's dinner. Don't know how well you're picking that up. Not my toilet paper, that is, but I've ditched bringing a tarp with me. This large garbage bag, because it does the same job as a ground cover. Spread my gear out on it. Doesn't really weigh anything, and it also doubles as a bag that I can put around my pack at night when I stash it under the hammock and keep it dry. So dual purpose and super light. Just trying to cut weight wherever I can. Come on, water. That's my little cat can stove over there. You've seen have a whole video on that, so I won't go into that, but if you're interested, weighs about 3 ounces for the whole stove. Here's my new summer sleeping bag. It's actually a Sea to Summit fleece thermal liner. It's mummy shaped, so in the winter I can actually stuff this in my primary sleeping bag, but this weighs 1.5 pounds instead of 3 pounds, so I cut the weight in half for warm weather. It's fine, it's comfortable. And this is Inertia X frame. I'll show you it in the morning. My new sleeping pad, size of a soda can, weighs 9 ounces. Pretty cool. We'll see how that works tonight. Another first for this trip as well, and I'll update you in the morning if I end up using it and if it works. I ditched the 10-ounce inflatable pillow that I usually bring and this Ziploc that you see on the screen. Why is it in frame? I'm going to try inflating that and just stuffing it in the hood of this fleece liner and see if I can use that as a pillow. A 1/4 ounce pillow. Well, apparently the hammock works pretty darn good, because it is, I actually slept in apparently till it's about 7 o'clock. And I usually wake up around 5:30 or 6 when I'm in the tent, so not bad. Luckily this thing breaks down pretty quickly too, so it should make up for my sleeping in. You can see that I set it up way too low. Shouldn't normally be this close to the ground, but it did the trick. Now I just gotta get myself together and wake up. Man, it is cold, at least colder than it was during the day yesterday. The forecast said that it'd be going down into the 50s at night. It definitely felt like low 50s last night. You see there's my pack in the bag there, but definitely felt like low 50s last night, so I pushed that fleece sleeping bag to its limit for sure. Once I get some coffee going, I'll probably pull that tarp off the top there, and I'll show you guys the inside. Of course, if we're going to make coffee, we should probably refill the water supply. I am pretty low. I'm going to take some of these squeeze bags down towards the water. Perfect. Coffee water for breakfast and 2 liters of drinking water in this one. We're good to go. You see that green color that the Hennessy Hammock comes in. Helps it blend in pretty well back there. Keeps it pretty discreet. There you can see, basically you run the line between 2 trees, and then the hammock under there that I'll show you in a second, and the rain fly tarp actually clips right to the support line on the top. You just clip it in on 2 spots and then tie it out with the lines there wherever you can find some sticks and stuff to put some tension on it. So works pretty well. It's definitely comfortable. Now that I have the you see I took the tarp rainfly off the top of here. It's actually rolled up right there where my finger is, next to the stuff sack that came with it. And I can maybe show you a little bit of what's inside. And again, this is not probably optimally set up, but considering that I didn't set it up probably the best way, I'm assuming, since it's my first time, it was still really comfortable. So I can imagine it can only get better from here. So I'm really happy with this. But you see you got your straps here and you fix that to the tree. This is an inspiration to learn knots, by the way. And inside, I'll just show you that because there's plenty of videos on setting these things up. It's way open. And you can see it's got an asymmetrical, hence the name, A-Sym, asymmetrical shape. You actually lay in an angle in it. And that is how you end up getting kind of a flat. You end up flat. You would think a hammock, you end up like bowed in a U shape. But no, I was laying pretty flat all night. My head was still above my feet though, which is good. But it's because you actually lay the way my arm's going across it, and it's plenty long at an angle. Okay, so let's flip open the mesh here. You see here's that line. This is what the rainfly attaches to. I just clipped it on with that. And this is neat. It slides around really easy, but if you tug on it, it doesn't move, so you can adjust your rainfly tension. I just hung my the red light for nice soft lighting. Hung that from there. That made a nice interior light system for last night. I just laid in here and read a ebook on my phone and in the hammock before bed. It was awesome. You got this pouch here you can keep your gear in. Here's that fleece liner. Again, it went down into the low 50s last night. It was pushing the limits of this. But I woke up a couple times with my upper body had to pull the mummy hood around me, but I got through it, so not bad. That means that this system's going to be fine with my full-size sleeping bag. So that's the fleece liner, and then this is the Climate Inertia X frame, and this is the inflatable frame that I got. And that actually originally I started with this just thrown in there underneath and the sleeping bag on top, and I wasn't even in the sleeping bag. I was just laying there, read my book. Everything was good. It was comfortable. Woke up in the middle of the night. It was getting colder, so then that's when I put the sleeping bag on top of this and slept in that. But then I woke up in the middle of the night and this had slid off to the side. So at that point I used it this is the way it's actually intended to be used. You put it inside the sleeping bag, and if this was a down sleeping bag, the loft would come up in between these holes. This is all supposed to be body mapped, so it's all your pressure points, and anywhere there's not pressure points, there's holes. In your loft, if you're using a different sleeping bag, obviously not fleece, it would rise up, because when it's compressed it's not doing anything. But this way you get more insulation because you're not mashing all your sleeping bag down. In my case, it was great because it held this in place. So once I was tucked in there with the X-frame, I wasn't going to wake up without my sleeping pad, because we were all together in one unit. And at that point, I was super comfortable. My back was warm. I never was cold on my backside using this. It was only because this mummy bag was kind of open up at the top. I woke up a couple times with just like my neck exposed, and it was a little chilly, but other than that it was great. And I actually did bring, I think this weighs an extra ounce, but this, you can blow this up with your breath, but I used this there's a little adapter, a little port, pop that in there, and you can adjust it up to however many extra pumps you want to get the firmness. And I actually used it last night because there's a release valve on here, and you can let a couple taps out. I did that to make it softer. A very adjustable sleeping pad. It's pretty cool. Breaking the X-frame down is pretty sweet too. Now I'm used to the Z-Lite, the thermarized Z-Lite, which there's like no breakdown. It accordions together, so nobody's beating that on speed of breakdown or setup. But with this, unlock the nozzle right there like I just did. That's where you blow it up by mouth too, and that's where the pump goes in. And then you just kind of fold it in half. I just start squeezing it out, run my hand down it, and it's empty. That's it. Now I just roll it up and pop it back in its little stuff sack. I dig it. So actually everything so far, my 3 new items, my hammock, my sleeping bag, and my pad, I like them all. I'm happy with all of them. Now this, again, wouldn't use it for this weather. Down to 60 degrees, in the 60s, I'm comfortable with this. When we went to Shenandoah, this fleece liner was more than enough. It's really just something for comfort in like hot weather, you know what I mean? Or when the chill comes on at night. But worth the weight savings. And in case you're wondering if my plastic bag inflated pillow worked, I couldn't tell you. It didn't need it at all. So not worried about pillows anymore, because just the way that the hammock lays combined with the X-frame sleeping pad, I felt no need for a pillow. Now the next time you see me using this, it should be a lot easier and quicker setup than it already was. I mean, it took me a while because I just picked the wrong trees and stuff, but with experience, a little practice, this thing is still very easy to set up. But they sell something called snake skins, and I have them on order. They just didn't come in time, and they actually cover the entire thing. When it's out like this, they sit up here, but then they slide over top of it and they bunch everything up while it's on the line. And the same thing for setup. You would set it up while it's bunched up. It looks like a snake running across there, and then once it's tensioned out, you pull the little kind of scrunchy looking snake skins back, and it pops open, and there's no putting your junk on the ground and rolling it up and all that stuff. Your gear would never even, your hammock would never even touch the ground for setup or putting it away. Pretty cool. Plus it's in its own little container when you're done. So those are on order. Maybe we'll see those in the next solo adventure. And there it is, all packed down. Very easy to take down. I mean, that's even without the snakeskin system. Again, I'll show that when I have it, but this is the standard stuff sack that it comes in, and you just pop the tarp and the hammock in there. About 3 pounds roughly for the whole thing. I've weighed it at home. Hammock's around 2 pounds, the tarp is around 1. Suppose if you're ambitious enough, you could go out and get some sort of super ultra light tarp and bring the whole weight of the system down anyway, but 3 pounds is great for me compared to the tent that I was carrying. And here's the plan for today. Here's the National Geographic map. These are really heavy and I didn't need it, but for video's sake I did bring it because I do have those printouts, but they are beautiful maps. So remember, we started yesterday here, the car came around, hit Peekamoose and Table Mountain, came down, and right now we're here on this Never Sink River. Sorry, it's a little early and I'm waking up here, but we're going to take that around this bend, then get onto this trail here, which is still part of the long path, it looks like. New York long path, and it should be about 3.5, 4 maximum miles to get to the top of Slide Mountain at an elevation of 4,180 feet. Again, tallest one in the Catskills. It is a Saturday, so I probably won't be alone up there because there is parking access right here that people will probably be bringing up. But that's okay. And then we're going to back out the 4 miles, back to this river, and then back out the 6 to 7 miles. Alright, finally all packed up. About 9 in the morning, so a bit of a late start. But, you know, I did sleep in a bit, and then I've been playing with my new gear and blabbing to you guys, so that's okay. It should be about 15 to 16 miles today is my estimate, and hopefully we get back to the car by around 5. If we average 2 miles per hour with stopping and looking at stuff and all that junk. So we'll see what happens. First things first, we should probably find where the heck the trail was. I know if I find that clearing over here, that'll get me roughly to it. This is it. And there's the trail. Slide Mountain, here we come. What we got here? Alright, this makes sense. It's the parking area that day hikers are probably coming from. A little bit of uphill back there if you can't tell by my breathing. But we're going this way. Curtis-Ormsbee Trail. That'll take us to Slide Mountain, 4 miles away. So, that'll work. Pretty rocky on this trail today. Alright, well, it's becoming apparent that despite my 9 o'clock or 9:15 start time, I'm still the first one on at least this trail because I am covered in cobwebs. Hopefully not spiders. Alright, so we're about 55 minutes in and going about 2 miles, a little over 2 miles, so we're just about at the estimate I was thinking, and we're halfway to Slide Mountain there. 2.3 miles this way. Over here. So, looks like we got the Curtis-Ormsbee Trail to Slide. This is the Curtis-Ormsbee Monument. If you come up here, you'll see this. So we will keep on moving this way. A couple more miles to go till we get to the summit. Should be before noon, that's nice. Incline's picking up now. Now if you take away the moss, this actually has a little bit of a Shenandoah kind of feel with the large stacks of rock like that. Didn't really get much chance to go up them in Shenandoah though, so this is pretty cool. Getting a lot more exposed roots. Oh, starting to get a nice cool breeze. So I'm hoping that's a good sign. We're getting close to the summit. According to the GPS, I'm on the, it's too much glare there to see, but I'm on the Wittenberg-Cornell Slide Trail, which matches up with the maps that I have in my pocket and that I read before I came out here. So GPS also says we've gone about 3.5 miles. So Slide Mountain's right there on my little GPS map, so shouldn't be too far. Got a nice rock staircase going on. A little bit here. See, we're getting up there. Wow. See if we can get a better view on this ledge. Not bad. Look, they go way back there. Kind of hard to tell with the haze, but yeah, it's not really showing up. They go way back. Alright. Getting ready for some lunch here. Looks like we're coming up on a clearing here. Feel some nice wind. I think. I'm looking at the contour lines on my GPS. Not going to get any higher than this. We're at 4,100 feet. And this is some stuff scrawled on there. This is the actual summit, I believe. Although you kind of got better views. Well, depends. You got some decent views from that that little spot we were just in. But this is it. We made it to the summit. So we made it up by before noon, which is good. At this point, I think I'm gonna make some ramen noodles up on my little stove. And it's about 11:30. Trip total for the entire trip, both days so far, we're up to 12.78 miles. So we'll have some lunch and then take it from there. Well, you can see I came back to the first little spot that I was in to hang out at because it does have such nice views. Now you could keep going down that trail and continue along and kind of loop onto some other things, meet up at some roads, etc. Physically, it is possible to get off of here without going back the same way I went or came in, but logistically for me, not possible. So I'll be heading back the same way that we came here, which you've already seen most of. So through the magic of editing, I will get us back to the car. And here we are. We are back at the car and the trailhead that we came from. 5.5 hours and 11 miles later, which puts our total mileage for today at 16 miles. Plus we did 8 yesterday, so total trip mileage 24 miles. Not too bad considering yesterday was a half day. Had a great time. Overall impression, Catskill Mountains, awesome. Rugged terrain, technical stuff, some light scrambling, awesome views. And for me personally, not too far from home. Still over 4 hours, but not too ridiculous. So I'm digging it. And this trailhead, definitely jumping. Sounds like a lot of people swimming down there and whatnot. So a lot of people having fun, a lot of cars in the lot now compared to yesterday. At this point, I have a feeling that you know what time it is. I am Syntax 77, and right now, it is New York cheeseburger time.